It's 11:14 on a Sunday night, and you're lying in bed doing the math again. Not because anything went wrong tonight, nothing dramatic happened. You're just lying there in the dark, running the same numbers you ran last Sunday. And the Sunday before that, mortgage, car payment, student loans, groceries, utilities. You're trying to figure out if this is finally the month you get ahead, or if you're just going to tread water again like you have for the last 3 years. Deep down, you already know the answer. But you keep running the numbers anyway, because the alternative is accepting that this is what life feels like now. Always calculating, always one unexpected bill away from stress. Meanwhile, your neighbor down the street, same kind of house, bought around the same time, similar income, woke up last Tuesday and decided to take the whole week off. No crisis, no frantic email to his boss. He just didn't feel like going in, so he didn't. He's not richer than you. He's just not doing that math anymore. My name is David, and I spend way too much time thinking about why two people with almost identical situations can end up living completely different lives. Today, we're going to talk about something the personal finance world barely mentions. What actually happens to your money, your career, your mind, your marriage, and your peace the moment you make that final mortgage payment. And I promise, by the end of this, that Sunday night math problem you keep running is going to look very different. Because here's what almost no one tells you when you're 12 years deep into a 30-year mortgage. You don't just lose a bill when it's finally paid off. You lose a silent prison sentence you stopped noticing you were serving. Let's start with the numbers, because the math is more brutal and more liberating than most people realize. The average mortgage payment in 2025 is around $2,329 for principal and interest alone. For newer loans at current rates, it's closer to $2,845. The median American household takes home roughly $5,400 a month after taxes. That means a typical mortgage is consuming 43% of take-home pay before you've bought a single grocery, filled a gas tank, or paid for anything else. Financial experts have long said housing should stay under 28% of gross income. Most people with a mortgage are living 15 percentage points over that line every single month for 30 years. Congratulations. You're a responsible adult who quietly agreed to be financially strangled in slow motion until you're in your 60s. Let me show you what that actually looks like in real life. Meet the Garcias. Dual income, combined $110,000 a year. Sounds solid on paper. After taxes, Social Security, Medicare, and a modest 401k contribution, they bring home about $6,800 a month. Now watch it disappear. Mortgage, $2,400. Property taxes, $380 homeowners insurance, $200 maintenance reserve because things break, $320. That's already $3,300 a month just to legally occupy the building. They have $3,500 left. 2 car payments, $800 car insurance and gas, $520 student loans, $550 health insurance, $380 groceries, $700, utilities, internet, phones, $420. We're down to about $130 remaining, and we haven't touched clothing, kids' activities, medical copays, car repairs, or any savings, retirement beyond the 401k, or even the simple joy of going out to eat without guilt. The Garcias aren't irresponsible. They don't have a boat. They've never been to Europe. They did everything society told them to do. Yet every major decision, career moves, side projects, even asking for time off, gets filtered through one silent question. Can we still cover the mortgage? That question runs in the background of their lives like a tab they can never close. But here's what almost no one talks about. The day that tab finally closes, everything changes. When the mortgage disappears, you don't suddenly get the full payment amount to play with. Property taxes, insurance, and maintenance still exist. On a $400,000 home, you're still looking at roughly $800 to $1,300 a month in ongoing ownership costs. So if your old payment was $2,845, you've realistically freed up about $2,000 a month in deployable money. That $2,000, invested consistently at a historical 8% average return, becomes $146,000 in 5 years, $365,000 in 10 years, $693,000 in 15 years, $1.17 million in 20 years. You contributed $480,000 of your own money over those 20 years. The market contributed the rest through compounding. Most of your future wealth didn't come from working harder. It came from finally getting the bank out of the way. But here's the part the spreadsheets never mention. Most people don't actually invest the difference. They let it quietly disappear into lifestyle creep. The forced discipline of the mortgage payment vanishes, and suddenly the money finds new homes. Better takeout, nicer vacations, newer cars. The spreadsheet also assumes you have the emotional strength to watch your investments drop 40% in a crash while still owing $2,500 a month on the house. That's a completely different psychological experience than watching the same drop from a home you own outright. So the real answer isn't just about the interest rate, it's about knowing yourself. Research shows something even more powerful. When people eliminate debt, especially the last big one, measurable changes happen. Anxiety drops significantly. Cognitive performance improves. People become less impulsive and make better long-term decisions. Their bodies literally calm down. The mortgage isn't just a financial obligation. For many years, it's a physiological one. Your body has been carrying it. When it's gone, your body notices the silence, and that's when the real freedom shows up. The Garcias, if they aggressively paid off their mortgage at year 22 instead of year 30, would drop their monthly expense floor by about $2,000. That single change reduces their financial independence number by roughly $600,000. They didn't earn more. They didn't get a windfall. They simply removed a mandatory cost And suddenly their options exploded. Mrs. Garcia can take the role with more meaning and slightly less pay. Mr. Garcia can finally start the small contracting business he's dreamed about for years. They can say yes to opportunities or say no to toxic ones without the mortgage hanging over every decision. That's the part nobody tells you at the closing table. So what should you actually do when that last payment processes? First, make sure the lender files a lien release and you receive the clear deed. This boring step matters more than you think. Second, before you redirect a single dollar, rebuild your emergency fund to 6 to 12 months of your new lower expenses. You've been stretched for years. Give yourself a real cushion. Then deploy the former payment with intention. Max the 401k match, free money. Max the Roth IRA, fund an HSA if eligible. Pour the rest into low-cost index funds. Do that consistently, and the math takes care of the rest. But the biggest transformation isn't the money, it's the silence. The Sunday night math finally stops. The background anxiety quiets. Decisions start coming from desire instead of desperation. You stop asking, can we still cover the mortgage? And you start asking, what does God want us to do with this freedom? That's the real payoff. The mortgage was never just a large bill. For most of your adult life, it was an invisible hand quietly shaping nearly every major decision you made. When it's gone, the grip releases. So if you're still running that Sunday night math in the dark, keep running it for now. But start moving toward the day when you don't have to anymore. Because the people who get there aren't always the ones who earn the most. They're the ones who understood what the finish line was actually worth and ran toward it on purpose.